For this project, you are going to need a bag full of tissue paper, a balloon, a paintbrush meant for glue, and a water glue mixture in a container. Let's talk about a new element of art. It's called form. When an artwork is three-dimensional, like that balloon. It used to be flat, I blew air into it, and it became three-dimensional, or 3D. We're also going to give form to these tissue paper squares. First, you will need to blow up your balloon to give it some form. You might need your parents' help for this part. When it's blown up, you tie a knot like this. Again, I think it might be too hard to blow up and tie a balloon right now, so just get some help for that. The shape and size of the balloon is important. It needs to be round and not too big to make the project take extra long. Once you have the perfect balloon, you are going to start covering it with tissue paper. And to keep it in its place, put it into a heavy bowl. I don't think a styrofoam bowl or a paper bowl would do for this job. It should be plastic or, like my bowl, is glass. So we already talked about form, when an artwork is three-dimensional. We're going to make a bowl with these pieces of tissue paper by covering the form of the balloon. But I also want to talk to you today about the color families. There are 3 color families. They are the warm colors, the cool colors, and the neutral colors. One way to think about color families is to think of the warm colors as the colors of things that are hot. Red, orange, and yellow are all the colors of fire and other things that are hot too, like peppers, the sun. So red, orange, and yellow, and also pink, are all warm colors because pink is actually a type of red. The next color family is the cool family. When you think of the cool family, you could think of the colors of ice and water and cool green grass and the purple night sky, because the cool colors are blue, green, and purple. All different shades, light and dark blue, light and dark green, and those are the cool colors. The neutral colors are black, brown, and white. These colors can be mixed with either. This tissue paper is going to do something called bleed when it gets wet, so it's going to leak its color all over the place, and a lot of mixing is going to happen. Sometimes when colors mix together, they don't look very good. They look grayish brown. If that's what you like, that's fine. But if you want your colors to stay bright, I would choose either the warm or cool colors to cover your balloon. As you've been seeing, this is how you cover your balloon with tissue paper. You paint a little bit of the balloon and take some time to cover the glued area. When the glue dries, you're going to pop the balloon, and what's left is going to be a form. It's almost going to be a sphere, like a circular globe, but missing the top half. You're not going to cover the entire balloon. You're going to go about halfway. One thing you can do is use your bowl to measure how far you're going to put the tissue paper. I've decided I'm actually going to stop a little early. I'm going to stop right about there, but you could use your bowl to measure. I want to take a second and show you what I meant by bleeding. See how the colors are leaking all over the place? Luckily, I'm just using warm colors, so all the mixing turns into beautiful colors and not dark, messy colors. Check out what I have so far. It's looking good, but the edge of my form, the line around the balloon made by my tissue paper, is very uneven. So I'm going to take a moment and paint a straight line where I want the edge to be and straighten that up. Okay, I'm gonna double check my edge. It's looking pretty good, much more even than before. And I've done one layer. Now, I need at least 3 layers on this balloon to make my form strong enough at the end. If I only do 1 layer or 2 layers, it could break on me. Tissue paper is so thin, it's not very strong. But if you have lots of layers and many pieces of tissue paper on top of each other, it's a lot stronger. So I'm gonna start layer number 2, and I'm gonna try to remember to add tissue paper on top of the balloon and move down towards the edge. That way I can keep track of the layers I've put. An easy way to work, I found, is to use your sticky fingers to pick up the tissue paper you want, and then stick a bunch onto the balloon at once, and then simply cover the flaps sticking up with glue, and they'll lay right down. Now, I understand that this may take a long time to create. So, here's the good news. You can stop in between layers if you'd like and go take a break for a couple hours or even a day. And you can start adding more tissue paper to a dry surface. But you don't want to wait so long that the balloon starts to shrink. If the balloon starts to shrink, then the project is pretty much over and you're just working with what you have. So I would set aside a very good chunk of time to start this project, because it's even taking me quite a while to lay down all these pieces of tissue paper. Another good reason to keep the balloon kind of small, so that it's doable. I know you're busy. Like I was getting too messy there, so I took a second to put away some of the tissue paper I'm not using, aka the neutral and cool colors. I put them back in the bag and pulled out some fresh tissue paper to sort through. And I also wiped my hands and the table just to get my head clear to keep working, because I'm only on layer 2. My fingers are kind of wet from wiping them off, so they are sticking to the tissue paper, which is awesome. I'm just kind of poking the colors I want in most cases and just plopping them right on the balloon, so that's fun. You can also do that if you have glue on your hands. Okay, I think this beautiful form is ready to go. I have covered it in probably more than 3 layers at this point. It's feeling heavy, so I know that I got a lot of paper on there and it's going to be pretty strong. And I'm going to clean up a little bit. If you have leftover glue mixture, you could put the lid on it and try this again with the extra papers and balloon. But if you're done, I suggest not letting this thing dry in its bowl. It is going to get stuck there. So I suggest using a hanger like this that has a clip on it. And I'm actually going to hang it in my shower on the curtain rod. Or you could hang it anywhere that you don't mind getting messy. And another suggestion to make it dry faster is to use a good old blow dryer. It has been 24 hours that this form has been drying, and it feels hard and solid, so it is ready for the balloon to be taken out. Use a pair of scissors to cut a hole in the balloon, and be careful with this part. I almost broke my bowl during this part, which would have been quite a shame. Make sure that your hole in the balloon is big enough that you can peel it carefully out of the inside of the form. It took longer and was harder than I thought to do this. I think something that would have helped is if I added more layers of tissue paper to make it stronger, and also perhaps let it dry even longer, because I actually felt the inside of the bowl was slightly cool to the touch, so I knew it wasn't totally dry. It worked out in the end though, and I got the balloon out. So just be careful during this part. The cool thing about this is that you can kind of use it as a bowl, although it doesn't stand up very easily, or you can use a light source to put underneath it and it glows really cool. The light goes through that tissue paper in many different colors, which is awesome. I included a tea light in this package that you can try it too.